For Frankston, 62 points at home back in round 9. Well, Dandenong already out on the ground, Frankston in their rooms, and a few players there should feel at home, especially Shane Morwood. He played 200 games for Collingwood, a 10 years service here at Victoria Park. There he is, 1992, got his name in gold on the board. Of course, a premiership player. There he is with the Collingwood Football Club. He'll, no doubt, being centre-half back today, tangle at some stage with Doug Barwick, who played in that 1990 Collingwood Premiership. He's in the forward pocket for the Dandenong Redlegs. That's just one of the intrigues about today's game. Well, the Dandenong Redlegs, as I said, they're out there on the ground, and this is the way they will line up today. You see Jack Marshall and Andrew Lacko, perhaps their best player this season. They're both starting on the bench. Marshall has got a bit of a hamstring strain, Lacko a bit of a calf problem, so that's an additional worry for Brad Gotch. Danny Cassette comes into the team in the back pocket. Andrew Eslick in the centre. Darren Hall back from suspension on the wing, prolific possession winner, and Reno Preto up there at full forward playing his 220th game. He's the VFA's leading goal kicker this season. In fact, he's second on the all-time list, and he's now 11th in the all-time game list in VFA football. Well, Sean Mullane, the skipper, is out with a knee injury, won't play again this season, and out suspended is their ruckman, Gary Milligan. I put it to Bradley Gotch that people are saying no Milligan, no Dandenong. What does he think?
Well, there's no doubting how good a player he is, Peter, but you know, we've got 20 other guys out on the ground this week, and we've got some good players in the forward line, like the Barwicks and the Pretos to kick at. And Lee Taylor's probably one of the best centre-half forwards playing the game this year. And with our midfield, with Atkinson's had a bit of finals experience, and the Salubas and Meads have been good for us during the year. So I'd say there's plenty of other players there that can compensate him.
Mark Gottliebsen can give you the first use of the ball?
Yeah, I think so. Ezra's a big boy, though. I was having a look at him out in the middle there before. Hopefully he can just make a contest and bring it to the ground, because we've certainly got the players that are prepared to attack the footy pretty hard. So if they can get in like Lackos and Salubas and Meads, we might get first use of the ball.
Sean Mullane and Gary Milligan, they're well respected around the club. They're looked at as being leaders. So what sort of role have you given them, seeing as they can't play?
Well, I asked Sean to come into match committee this week, and I've had Gary sort of tutoring the on-ballers, and they've taken care of all the stats people and all that sort of thing. So, and just generally come into all our meetings and had a bit of a chat from the captain and vice-captain viewpoint. So they've had a big impact this week, big impact.
Accentuating the positive, I think that's what you could say about Brad Gotch. And for Frankston, the opposition, a few ins and outs. Ross Napoli, the rover, out with an ankle injury. Webb has been dropped from the side. Kimpton goes onto the bench. Vandermeer in at full back. He's going to have a big job today with Reno Preto to handle. Gardner into the forward pocket with Matthew Mackay alongside him. Dual-pronged, exciting forwards for the Frankston Football Club. Anthony Lance comes in the other forward pocket. Well, I asked Graham Kendall, the Frankston coach, if his team deserves to be the favourites most people consider them.
We haven't yet proved ourselves against top sides, and I guess we haven't yet beaten Springvale, Box Hill or Sandringham, and that's obviously of some concern to us. And I think that the opposition today will be a lot better than what we encountered when we played them earlier in the year. So expect it to be pretty tough, but really looking forward to it.
Do you really think that they might make it a physical game?
Well, I think elimination finals or finals where, you know, the result hinges on you whether you're being in or out. I think they tend to be that way anyway, so yeah, we'll be ready for that.
You say that you haven't been in a top side. You've come in to the game, this game, with very good form, 3 big wins really. Would you like to have a tough, hard game against one of the finalists?
Well, that would have been good. I guess Werribee and Port Melbourne, of course, we expected them to be hard and tough, and our approach to that game was just so good that it didn't turn out that way. So we let ourselves a little bit down the second half against Port, but we've worked a little bit on that, and so if we sort of counter that sort of pressure again, we should handle it a bit better.
Well, we'll soon find out. With me in commentary today, as usual, Philip Cleary and Sam Kekovich. Well, the odds fellas seem to be stacked in Frankston's favour. Is that how you see it?
Well, I'm going to go for Frankston, yes. I think the absence of Milligan has really put the midfield of Dandenong under enormous pressure. And I thought for Dandenong to have any chance today, they would have to get on top in the midfield to give their two-prong attack of Preto and, of course, Barwick, would be the perfect foil any chance. But the absence of Milligan, who gives them tremendous sense of presence and also first use the ball, is going to put them under enormous pressure, Phil.
Yes, I agree, Sam. Milligan's a terrific player. But, you know, when I look at the Frankston forward line, you look at Williams, Ryan, Gardner and McKay, you're looking at 4 tools. So if they go in with those 4 tools, the big question really for the Redlegs is, can they cover them? Will Cassette go to the back line? And given that Marshall, we hear, has a slightly sore hamstring, maybe they've got to put Cassette there. And there's Frankston, as we see on the screen. But maybe they'll be top-heavy today. Who knows? But the Milligan issue certainly is critical. You know, if the Redlegs get that forward line set up right with Barwick and Preto, I mean, sometimes we've seen Cassette up the forward line, they've looked a bit top-heavy, so who knows? And that's a player they really do miss in Sean Malone. But there's a little bit in this game, actually. There's a few variables that we'll see unravel as the game gets underway, obviously.
I think when you look at Frankston's forward setup as well, Phil, it's certainly extremely potent when you look at the inclusion of Williams, a quality big man. You got Ryan up there, and of course McKay.
Williams, talk about him. He's probably due for a good game.
Tremendous player, but Sam, we've played in sides and where you've had a number of tools on your forward line, and you've run into troubles, haven't you? You've said, gee, we look terrific on paper, we're top heavy and slow. Usually it revolves around a couple of keys, and you need the runners. I mean, if the rebound occurs, you're scratching your head. So I'd say again, Peter, as I think Sam would agree with me, a few variables here that will be tested.
Ty Essler is certainly a trump card for Frankston in the ruck. Mark Gottliebsen has got the job on him.
Can he handle him, Sam?
Well, it's debatable. Essler's had a wonderful year. He's been a wonderful acquisition. He's probably one of the few players that have made the transition instantaneously from league football to VFA football, and I doubt it.
Well,
in a word.
Questions to be answered shortly. Ross Booth, good afternoon to you. And, you're not a father yet, but I'm sure you'll like to say Happy Father's Day to your old man.
Yes, I would up there, Eric at Katunga. And I almost brought some flowers for you, Phil, saying I haven't got any coffee and croissants for you. But it's a lovely day. Rain perhaps later in the afternoon. In both rooms, a feeling of enthusiasm and excitement, unlike the tension in both rooms yesterday under their coaches, supporters in both rooms. So I think we're going to see a more relaxed sort of game, not as tight and a lot of attacking play. The umpires are Darren Ague and David Ackland, and of course, Phil, Reno Preto. They might run off him in the Dandenong back line, or in the Dandenong forward line.
Yes, good call. But we'll see.
Well, I think the Moose might want to play a big game today.
I would think so too.
Should be fired up. If you can't get fired up for an elimination final, there's something the matter with you. Here we go at Victoria Park. And had to wait under that one, Gottliebsen. It bounces off Eslick. Darren Hall gets his first possession, the handball out. That looked like Lacko that got the kick there. He might have started. Before Atkinson can get the ball, throw in on the Jack Ryder stand wing. In the reserves elimination final, no tomorrow, unfortunately, for Williamstown. Knocked out by Springvale. It was a terrific game, but Springy came home very strongly. Out towards Hall. Boonkamp put the half tackle on him and throws himself back in willy-nilly. I think it was high to call there. Pollock went away with the ball, but he's got to hand it back to the umpire now. So Boonkamp roving in the absence of Napoli. Again, a very high bounce. The players having a bit of trouble judging that. Eslick couldn't get through with the ball. Sorry, David George it was. Here's Pollock diving on it, number 12.
And in fact, Lacko has started, Peter, and that's one of the enthralling duels of the afternoon. It'll have a critical bearing on the outcome of this game. Tony Hamill, of course, his counterpart. That vital centre-line duel between Lacko and Tony Hamill.
And Marshall in too, Sam.
Yep.
Greg O'Neill and Steve Kimpton on the bench for the Dolphins. Up towards Goosey. And Morrison fed out the hand pass to Lee Taylor. Around the corner. Up towards Big Reno. No doubt about it, yes. In front of Vandermeer.
We might hear the Moose call.
I'm sure early on.
Yes, and that serves as an inspiration, that Moose call, to the rest of the side. And of course, what a dream opening for the Redlegs if they can pot this one through. And of course, Preto himself will do his confidence no end of good.
Number 86 for the season for Big Reno Preto. Oldest man on the ground.
And he's kicked now 1,070 VFA goals.
It's nice to get one early, Sam, when you're in the key posse on the forward line, isn't it? Just like that, in front of the pack, dropping down, dropping short.
It's quite an efficient build-up. This, I was just thinking, I don't know, I know it's only been a couple of minutes, but they just seemed a bit nippier
Yes.
at the moment, don't they?
Well, look,
A bit quicker.
you know, looking across their forward line, I think they've got the balance pretty well right today, the